Okay, so today we're going to look at finding the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple of two numbers. So today I'm going to look at the numbers 60 and 42. So if I take the number 60 and the number 42, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all find their prime factors. I'm going to write each of these numbers as the product of their prime factors. So if I take 60 first of all, the first prime number is 2, so I'm going to see, does 2 divide into 60? Yes, it does, so I divide it by 2 and I get 30. Now I stick with 2 and I say, well, does 2 divide into 30? Yes, it does, so you divide again by 2 and you get 15. You then stick with 2 and say, well, does 2 divide into 15? No, it doesn't. So at this stage you move from 2 to the next prime number. The next prime number after 2 is 3. Does 3 divide into 15? Yes, it does. So you divide by 3, you get 5. 3 now doesn't divide into 5, so you move to the next prime number, which is 5. Divide by 5, you get 1. Once you reach 1, you're finished. So what you do next is write 60 as the product of these prime factors. So we get 60 is equal to 2 times 2 times 3 times 5, or 2 squared times 3 times 5. Now we're going to look at 42. We do exactly the same thing to 42. So we start by dividing by 2. 2 will divide into 42, so you get 21. Now stick with 2. Does 2 divide into 21? No, it doesn't. So move to the next prime number. The next prime number after 2 is 3. Does 3 divide into 21? Yes, it does. So we divide by 3. 3 into 21 is 7. Divide 7 by 3, it doesn't work, so we move to the next prime number, which is 5. 5 doesn't divide into 7, so we move to the next prime number, which is 7. So we're going to divide by 7 and we end up with 1. So 42 can be written as 2 times 3 times 7. So we've done the first step. So what we've done is we've written 60 and 42 as the product of their prime factors. Now we're going to work out, using this information, the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple of both these numbers. So let's start with the highest common factor. What you do is you look at the two sets of numbers and you start with the first one. The first one here is 2. We have a 2 here and we have a 2 here, but we have a 2 squared here and we have a 2 to the power of 1 here. Which one do we pick? For factors, highest common factors, you pick the smallest one, because 2 is the factor of 2 and 2 squared. So we're going to pick the smaller of the two. So we're going to pick 2. 2 to the power of 1 rather than 2 to the power of 2. Move to the next number then. The next number is 3. So we're going to look at this. Is 3 common to this set of prime numbers and this set? Yes, it is. So we're going to use 3 as well. It's 3 to the power of 1, so we don't have to worry about powers. We have a 5 here. We have no 5 here, so it's not a common factor, so we don't use 5. We have a 7 here, so we look at these set of prime numbers. We don't have a 7 here, so we ignore the 7 as well. So our highest common factor is 2 times 3, which is 6. So the highest common factor between 60 and 42 is 6. Okay, so that one is done. So now we're going to look at the lowest common multiple. So we go through the same procedure again. We look here and we see we've got a 2 squared and we've got a 2. Now in this situation we pick the higher of the two. We pick the 2 squared rather than the 2 to the power of 1. So we write down 2 squared. We're going to multiply that by, we have a 3 here, we have a 3 here as well, and they're both the same power, so we don't have to worry about the power. So we just multiply by 3. Now you must include all numbers when we're talking about multiples. So we're going to include the 5. We're going to multiply by 5. And we also have a 7 here. We're going to include the 7. So we've got to multiply by 7 as well. So you've got to multiply all those out. Let me see. 2 squared is 4. 3 fours are 12. 5 12s, 60. And 60 times 7 is 420. So the lowest number that these two numbers, 60 and 42, will divide into is 420. The highest number that will divide into 42 and 60 is 6. And that's about it.